Welcome to the Career Tipper Podcast, hosted by professional development author and coach Michele Beatty. The Career Tipper Podcast shares career advancement tips and resources for a variety of industries to assist professionals to keep their soft and technical skills recharged, competitive, and hire ready.
Welcome to Episode 3 of Career Tipper Podcast, Season 1 of Skills Recharged. I'm your host, Michele Beatty, professional development author and coach. During this episode, I'm talking about another in-demand soft skill, persuasion. It's an innate personality trait for some, but can be learned and mastered by many. Companies need more employees that can demonstrate that they are masters of persuasion to help generate sales and overall consumer buy-in. From onboarding employees to getting teams to work cohesively together, the art of persuasion influences acceptance and strengthens business dynamics. In every audience, 10% will love what you say, and another 10% will hate what you say, no matter what. That middle 80% is open to persuasion. That's your shot, said Jared Uden, master public speaker and previous guest of episode 1 of the podcast. Remember, an audience is a group of listeners regardless of the environment. Social psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini shares when making a decision, it would be nice to think that people consider all the available information in order to guide their thinking. But the reality is very often different. In the increasingly overloaded lives we lead, more than ever, we need shortcuts or rules of thumb to guide our decision-making. Dr. Cialdini has researched and identified 6 shortcuts as universals that guide human behavior. Number 1, reciprocity. Simply put, people are obliged to give back to others the form of a behavior, gift, or service that they have received first. In the context of a social obligation, people are more likely to say yes to those who they owe. Number 2, scarcity. When it comes to effectively persuading others using the scarcity principle, the science is clear. It's not enough simply to tell people about the benefits they'll gain if they choose your products and services. You'll also need to point out what is unique about your proposition and what they stand to lose if they fail to consider your proposal. Number 3, authority. This is the idea that people follow the lead of credible and knowledgeable experts. Number 4, consistency. When seeking to influence using the consistency principle, the detective of influence looks for voluntary, active, and public commitments, and ideally gets those commitments in writing. Number 5, liking. To harness this powerful principle of liking, be sure to look for areas of similarity that you share with others and genuine compliments you can give before you start business. Number 6, consensus. Especially when they are uncertain, people will look to the actions and behaviors of others to determine their own. Understanding these shortcuts and employing them in an ethical manner can significantly increase the chances that someone will be persuaded by your request. In the post, 9 Habits of Persuasive Business Leaders, Jacqueline Whitmore, author, business etiquette expert, and founder of the Protocol School of Palm Beach, promotes the practice of telling a story. There's nothing quite as compelling or fascinating as a story well told. Stories have the power to persuade others and influence them. People may pay attention differently when hearing a narrative as opposed to just facts and figures. If you want to demonstrate why an idea or strategy is important, then tell a well-crafted story. Your stories must create connections between what the person is thinking, what they already believe, and what you want them to believe and do. Next, layer on your proof. Give an example using yourself or someone you know that adds credibility to your point. Joel Brown, founder of Addicted to Success, shared in his article, 7 Ways to Be More Persuasive in Business, that one persuasive technique is to appeal to their reputation. People are more likely to behave in a way that is consistent with their past decisions or beliefs, thereby upholding their reputation. This is what psychologists call labeling. You can use this to your advantage by pointing out that someone has demonstrated a particular trait in the past, and then suggesting that their next course of action remains consistent with that label. For example, say your company is cutting edge, and cutting edge companies invest in products like X. This technique is tried and true, and you'll often see it used in marketing. In the post, How to Be Persuasive with Customers by Molly Gilson, Principal Channel Account Specialist for HubSpot, shares 4 steps on how to be persuasive. Number 1, focus on having a real conversation instead of simply telling customers what you want them to do. Great conversationalists actively listen, often summarize what they are hearing, and then ask more questions to understand the issues at a deeper level. Number 2, objections are opportunities to learn what the customer values, so lean into objections with further questions. Matt Hamber, a sales manager at HubSpot, taught Mindy that an objection is not a roadblock, but a fork in the road that leads to her better understanding her customer. If someone says, "I haven't seen ROI from HubSpot," it's not helpful for her to counter with, "But I see you generated 50 new leads last month." Instead, it's an opportunity for her to understand what ROI means to the customer. Number 3, move the conversation forward by solving problems with the customer. This question led Mindy to Barrett King, a former sales trainer. He introduced her to the feel, felt, found strategy, a sales tactic to demonstrate empathy and understanding while also moving forward with possible solutions. It's important to know that your solution needs the customer's buy-in. You shouldn't just offer one up without seeing if it's a good fit. Number 4, tone and phrasing matter. So make sure your words are empathetic to build trust. Be human. Speak to your customers the way you would want someone speaking to you. Listen to understand, not to respond. Now I want to address the art of persuasion through business writing. In the post, 9 Reasons to Use Persuasive Writing in Business, the founder of The Writer's Right, Amanda Patterson, shares the reasons are: 1, to boost morale; 2, to show commitment to customers; 3, to show commitment to investors; 4, to show commitment to partners; 5, to show commitment to staff members; 6, to encourage repeat business; 7, to increase brand awareness; 8, to increase sales; 9, to win back lost business. In your writing, you should focus on 5 things. 1, what you want the reader to perceive. 2, minimize your feelings. 3, remember the reader's concerns. 4, use the active voice. 5, choose persuasive words. To learn more about mastering the art of persuasion, my suggestion is reading more of Dr. Robert Cialdini's research through his books. A full listing is on his site, influenceatwork.com. Thanks for listening. I do want to know if you plan on recharging your skills through mastering the art of persuasion. You can get in touch with me at careertipper.com, on Instagram and Facebook at CareerTipper, and on Twitter at CareerTipper1.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Career Tipper Podcast. We're grateful for our listeners. For more resources about how to keep your skills recharged, visit CareerTipper.com. Follow Michele on Instagram and Facebook at Career Tipper, and on Twitter at CareerTipper1. Until next time, stay curious.